Hey, I wanted to give you an update about Roam Agile. I'm pretty much done with developing the minimum viable product version, so I have my first two epics completed, and now I'm going to be moving on to publishing the packaged graph. I have a couple of further ideas, but for the time being, I'm going to stop here with the development. And before doing all this work, I wanted to show you how it works. So here, for Sprint 5, I've already ranked my stories that I want to include, and I've also developed these stories. So if I open this story here on the right, you can see this is estimated at 2 story points, and it's assigned to me as developer. The next story is 3 story points, and it's assigned to Peter. He's an imaginary partner. I needed a team so I can test some of the team functionalities and so on. So when I want to create a new sprint, I click on the name of the sprint here, and that opens up an empty page. So I run my sprint template, and running the sprint template fills my page with, of course, an empty sprint. So if you recall, on the backlog, I already had the sprint planned. I had 3 stories here, so I have this button here to sync with the backlog, and when I sync with the backlog, then these stories appear here. Moreover, what happens is these stories are turned to be active, so each of the stories that were moved from the backlog to my Kanban board have changed their status to active. Now, I have this button here to count the story points because I might not know how many points I've collected here, and I look at 10 points. I think I actually could do one more story, so I'm going to promote this story from the backlog from sprint 6 to sprint 5. And then if I again click sync with backlog, then you can see that this additional story shows up. This works the other way around as well. So if I remove a story from here, maybe I don't want to do this story anymore, then if I again go ahead and sync with backlog, then that story disappears. So let me just bring this story back because I actually do want to do that, and I'm just going to sync the backlog once more, and so these stories are now all active. So to start, and I can again count the story points, and you can see that now in total I have 15 story points. Note that this sprint is right now in draft status. If I want to start the sprint, I simply click start sprint, and that does 2 things. One, it turned my chart status to active, or sprint status to active, as well as it updated the burn down chart with the first 2 points. So I have 0 done, and I have 15 points to do. Now if I go to my daily notes page and I want to do my daily stand-up, then I just run the stand-up template. And the stand-up template is going to fill this with my 2 developers, and both of the developers have these 4 questions, plus they have a copy of the Kanban board, the stories that they're doing. As well as, right now I'm not going to do this, but we'll simulate tomorrow as well. I can choose if I want to update the burn down chart, but I just initiated the burn down chart, so there's no point updating it, so I'm just going to say cancel. And with that, I have my daily notes page, and I have my link to sprint 5, as well as I can fill out my daily stand-up. If I go back to my sprint, maybe during the day I get this story done, I get started with this story, and this story, frankly, I don't know which one is Peter's and which one is mine, so this might actually end up to be both of Peter's. We will soon find out. So you can imagine that this is the situation where I get to tonight, and then tomorrow when we have the daily stand-up, I'll run the stand-up script. And with the stand-up script, you can see that actually I was lucky, so I moved one of my stories, and one of Peter's story is already in the done status. And I also want to update the burn down chart, so I click OK. And with that, I've updated. I again have my daily stand-up page, but if I come to sprint 5, then you can see that in my burn down chart, I already show that I have 3 points completed, which was the story cleanup graph, and I have, of course, 3 points decrease from what I need to do. So imagine I finish this whole piece up. So I move all of this here. Let me just open up the backlog here on the right hand side. When I am ready to close the sprint, before I close the sprint, I'm just going to update the burn down chart. So I can see that now in the 3rd day, I got all my stories finished, and I have my burn down, the to-dos reached 0. When I want to close the story, so this is after my sprint demo, I've gone through and validated that all the acceptance criteria, etc. were done. I can simply click close sprint, and this is going to take me through a process of asking, can I change the status to closed for, and it will take me through the 4 stories. So first, cleanup graph, yes you can. Then I say export restore. I'm just simply going to say OK to all of them. It also asks if it can close the sprint, so I say OK. And so what you will see is here on the backlog, these stories were all ticked to be closed. Also the status changed to closed, as well as if I open up any of the stories, then the status of these stories were changed to closed as well. So that is, I think, a good demonstration of the type of automations I've built into this. And my takeaway from all of this is that Roam is indeed very powerful with the new Alpha API that allows you to write blocks. I can really navigate this database and update different values on different pages, can grab the estimates, I can grab and change the statuses, I can list stories assigned to people, and I think overall I was able to build an Agile template that is really practical and useful. My experience using this template to develop this Roam Agile has also been fantastic. Maybe just showing one additional item. As I was going through the stories, I wanted to show you the close sprint button. So apart from the algorithms of thought I've built in, here's an example of using the mermaid chart to document the process of the close sprint button, the logic it takes me through. Overall, I'm very satisfied with the functionalities Roam offers, and I think this is an excellent Agile product management platform for a smaller product. Thank you.